We are back from vacation. It was a really good one. And Debbie was threatening not to return. She's like, I'll follow you a week later. She loves Punta Mita. That's where we went. It's called Punta Mita, Mexico. And honestly, I'd never heard of it. Debbie found it online. She showed me some pictures. It looked really, really nice. And we had some last minute anxieties because of some of the incidents that have occurred in Mexico. Is it really safe? Turns out this is a very safe part of Mexico. Anyway, we had a great time. I might be looking a little bit of a shade darker, but it was a wonderful 7th anniversary getaway for both of us. Well, I'm back to reality, and we're back to what's happening with Alvin Bragg in New York. And I guess this is the week where we're going to find out if Alvin Bragg is going to push ahead with this prosecution of Donald Trump. I mean, let's take in the sheer spectacle of this. First of all, indicting a former president, unprecedented. Number 2, indicting the leading candidate of the opposition party, with the obvious and apparent goal of putting him out of contention. Now you might say, wait a minute, if Trump is indicted, he can still run. Yeah, but the idea is to discourage his donors. He's under indictment. He might be found guilty of a felony. After all, this is New York. The jury is going to be as bad as it is in Washington, D.C. for the January 6th defendants. So even if the case has very limited or virtually no merit, I mean, think about it. Are we literally talking about Stormy Daniels again? Apparently, yes, we are. And all of this, if it goes forward, I think the grand jury may be having some anxiety about it, because the grand jury is recognizing, first of all, that this is a very murky case. Number 2, the chief witnesses have, virtually no credibility at all. A disgraced lawyer, Michael Cohen, who actually was found criminally convicted, served time. Stormy Daniels, a porn star. I mean, these are your star witnesses. And I'll talk in the next segment about the merits of the case, but you'll see how both of them explicitly disavow that what Alvin Bragg is trying to say took place. They deny under their own signature and in their own words that it took place. So we'll come back to that. But this is a nest of corruption, and I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about the Southern District of New York, the venue through which Alvin Bragg will, if he goes ahead, push through this prosecution. In a way, I think he's in a almost impossible position, because if he backs down now, it's almost like he'd have to resign, because this is like a case of threatening prosecution. I mean, think of it. Barricades were put up for an imminent arrest. The media, of course, has descended on New York en masse. There are 2 left-wing protesters out there. Get rid of Trump, with like 70 reporters all, running video and taking photos. So the circus has already begun, but apparently there are no elephants. So this is a case where Bragg has got to either go ahead, which I think in desperation he's going to try to do, and he's going to use the corrupt venue or the corrupt operation of the SDNY to push through with it. Now, I'm familiar with these SDNY characters, the Southern District of New York. These are people who are very used to operating in a very underhanded way. People sometimes say things like, well, why would Trump, make a payment to Stormy Daniels even if the money came through Cohen? Why would he do it if he's not guilty? This is like the same people who ask things like, well, Dinesh, you pleaded guilty to violating the campaign finance laws. Why would you do it? Why would you plead guilty if you didn't violate them? And the answer was, there are a number of defenses available to me, but because of the conduct of both the SDNY and cooperative judges, in my case, a judge named Richard Berman. So we went to Judge Berman and said, hey, Judge Berman, I'd like to show that I'm being selectively prosecuted. No American in the entire history of the country has been even charged with doing what I did. prosecuted. First time offense, no corruption, no quid pro quo, small amount over the limit. Show me one other case where this was even prosecuted in this way, prosecuted as a felony as opposed to a misdemeanor with just a warning. And there was no such case. But what happened is Judge Berman, in working in conjunction with the SDNY, basically goes, I'm not going to let you go there. I'm not going to allow that line of questioning. In fact, I'm not going to give you access to your FBI file, which would show that you were kind of highlighted as a political opponent of Obama. It shows the political motives for the selective prosecution. I'm not going to let you go there. So what I'm getting at is there is a despicable operation in New York. It's like these are hitmen with legal credentials and with judges in their back pocket, or with judges who are willing to do their bidding. Of course, in my case, it wasn't Alvin Bragg. It was the Asian Indian ruthless careerist named Preet Bharara. And this same operation, which has been deployed against one person after another, is now being deployed against Trump. So while I'll discuss in the next segment the merits of the case, in some ways you've got to realize when you're dealing with the SDNY, the merits of the case don't seem to matter at all.